Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us and tuning in again. If you missed it, my name is Jessie Wiesblatt, and I am the Community Engagement and Events Associate here at Ovarian Cancer Canada. For the next half hour, we are very lucky to be joined by three of our incredible community members who have been very involved with Ovarian Cancer Canada in different ways. We have Erin Barrett, who is a Teal sister and Vice Chair of the Board at Ovarian Cancer Canada. We also have Jennifer Beauchesne, who is a community event organizer for Beau's 5K and the co-founder of Beau's Brewery. We also have with us Stephanie Hay, who is the Ovarian Cancer Canada Walk of Hope team captain for Team Shaunshine and one of our amazing community fundraisers. Thank you, three, for joining us here today. We are so grateful and very excited to hear from you and chat with you. We're going to chat a little bit about the impact that Ovarian Cancer Canada has had on yourselves, your family, and your friends, and also a little bit about the impact that your generous support has had on the Ovarian Cancer Canada community that we work with. So without further ado, we'll dive right in. And I'm hoping to kick off the discussion with just a question for all three of you. You've all got very different and heartfelt reasons for putting your energy and hard-earned dollars towards this cause. And I'd love if you could share a little bit about why you do it. So Stephanie, if we can start with you, I'll pass it over.
I do this to remember my mom. My mom passed away in September 2018, and I want to carry on her legacy of raising awareness of ovarian cancer. It was a passion of hers, especially attending the walks. It was a time to connect with other Teal warriors and a time to feel supported by other people who know and can relate to her journey. So fundraising is my passion now because I'm carrying on her legacy. And it's an honor for me to be able to represent her and just make her proud and yes, just continue on her passions. And yeah.
That's really, really special. And I know we've spoken about it before, but I can only imagine how proud that you are making her. So thank you. Erin, I will pass it over to you.
So the reason I'm involved with Ovarian Cancer Canada is I'm an ovarian cancer survivor. I was actually diagnosed when I was pregnant with my daughter, my second child. And when she was when she was 6 weeks old, I started going through treatment. So I went through chemo and radiation, all with a toddler and my husband having a very busy job. So it was a horrible time. And it was really those first 6 months of my daughter's life were taken from me, and I didn't get to spend them in a way that I wanted. But through all of that, I know how lucky I was because I was diagnosed early. I was able to have surgery and then treatment, and 5 years later, touch wood, I'm still healthy and well. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this cause is I don't want any other woman to go through what I went through, but especially the fact that the stats for this disease have not changed in 50 years. To me, that's completely unacceptable. And I'm going to do everything within my power to make sure that we see change because women deserve it.
We're not 5 minutes in and I'm already catching myself, but thank you for sharing, Erin. And Jen, over to you if you can share as well.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the organizer of the Beau's 5K for Ovarian Cancer Canada. This is going to be our 7th year coming up this July running that event. I'm lucky enough to work for an employer who is willing to host this event. So I get the privilege of working on this as part of my job. The event was actually started by one of our employees whose friend Ashley had been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And this friend just wanted to do something to show her support for Ashley. So she came up with the idea just to do this little 5K down a dirt road near our brewery. She made the medals by hand and she just asked us to kick in a free beer, and we raised $700 that first year. So we were kind of like, wow, we're on to something. So the torch of organizing the event has passed from hand to hand over 7 years, and it's landed with me for the last 3 years. I didn't grow up with Ashley, but I connected with her love of running. And I know that she told her husband, Nick, that when she was running, that's when the cancer really faded away for her. And she was just herself running. And that's something that I feel like I really understand. So In our biggest year, we had almost 500 runners participate. We had runners and walkers going down our same little dirt road, but we raised $70,000 that year, not 700. So, and when I say we, it's not just Beau's. We're just the enablers. We're the people who make the beer. But the people who sign up for the event do all the fundraising, and we just use our event to channel that incredible energy into fundraising for Ovarian Cancer Canada. And free beer seems to be a big motivator. So we do what we can.
That's incredible. Wow. Thanks, Jen. Erin, I'm gonna chat a little bit with you now, if that's okay. And I just wondered if you could chat a little bit about how Ovarian Cancer Canada has made a direct impact on your journey with this disease. If you could tell us your firsthand view on how it's helping improve outcomes for women affected by this disease.
Absolutely. So for me, the biggest thing that Ovarian Cancer Canada has done for me is really invite me into this community of Teal sisters. I know many women watching right now have either gone through this or are going through it at the moment, and my heart obviously goes out to you. But I know that a lot of us find that there's not a lot of us. And so when you're in a hospital, when you're getting treatment and you're looking around, it's hard to find other women with ovarian cancer who really understand what it is that you're going through. And being able to connect over a dialogue, or even just, picking up the phone to somebody and making that connection, I can't even tell you it's worth its weight in gold to have that sort of shorthand that you can speak and say, oh, I have this, and have somebody just say, I get it. It's just so powerful in its connection. So for me, that's what Ovarian Cancer Canada has really done. But what it's also done is it's given me a sense of hope. So many of us women who have gone through this disease live under this rain cloud of worrying that it's going to recur. And for me, knowing that Ovarian Cancer Canada is working its tail off constantly to move forward research projects that could one day help benefit me, heaven forbid, if that cancer should come back, or more importantly, to help my Teal sisters who are facing that right now. I've seen firsthand how hard this team works, which is part of the reason why I got so involved with Ovarian Cancer Canada and by sitting on the board. My background is working with charities and fundraising, and I've worked with hundreds of causes, and Ovarian Cancer Canada is expertly run. The cost management, the investment plan that they have, their strategy is just exceptional through and through. The team is beyond outstanding. And so that's why I feel so confident putting my name on the board, standing for this organization, sharing my story, and also telling other Teal sisters that this is a group of people who are here for you. They're committed to you in the short term, the long term, they're committed to helping your families. And it's an outstanding organization.
Thank you. Thanks, Erin. So I guess beyond your contributions on the board of directors, you have decided to support Ovarian Cancer Canada as a monthly donor, and you've also decided to leave a legacy gift in your will, which is incredible. So I just wondered if you could share what results you have seen and how do they affect your view of the future for others with ovarian cancer through contributions like yours.
So for me, the reason I decided to give a monthly gift is that doing that allows Ovarian Cancer Canada to anticipate income that's coming down the line. So they know that they can count on that donation. It's not a huge amount that we donate every month, but it's a consistent amount. And that really does add up over time. And for me, the big piece is really that investment in research. So because they can anticipate money that's coming, they're able to really put that money towards what matters most to me, which is research and support. Also, with leaving a legacy gift, it was the easiest thing possible. With 2 young children, we obviously have to make sure that we've got our will in order and up to date. And so in doing that, it was so simple, just really a line or two saying that we wanted to leave some money to Ovarian Cancer Canada. And I think that it's one of those things that people don't realize what a big impact that can have. When you're gone, it helps it's called a legacy gift because it really is you leaving a legacy towards a cause that matters so much. And it couldn't be easier. It doesn't affect my day-to-day. And I know that even when I'm gone, that research is going to continue, which is so powerful for me.
Well, thank you, Erin, and I'm sure I can speak on behalf of everyone, and thank you so much for your support. And I've been lucky enough to hear you speak a few different occasions, but it never gets any less impactful and special, and thank you. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
So Stephanie, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit now, if that's okay. And I just wanted to chat a little bit about your incredible fundraising. So you are a team captain at the Ovarian Cancer Canada Walk of Hope. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how you've seen the walk bring your community and the community around you closer.
Yes, as you said, community, it is a community, and that means support. And like I said, my mom, she looked forward to this walk every year. It was a time to, like I said, be supported by those that can relate to her journey. Like, I was her caretaker, and I can't relate because I've never walked that journey. But then also with me going to the walks with her, I knew there was other caretakers there as well that I can relate with. So in that aspect, it was a support system. But now that she's gone, it is a time for us, family and friends, to remember her, and a time to connect. We know once a year, Mom's going to be on our minds, and fundraising is a time to honor her and continue to raise awareness of the silent killer that so many women are affected by. And I've seen firsthand my mom go through it, and it's awful. And like Erin said, my heart goes out to those that are walking it now, and that, like you said, Erin, live in a constant wonder if it's ever going to come back. And it breaks my heart that that's a reality of so many women. So the walk is a time to connect and feel supported, and that's what I want for women, is to feel that support.
That's incredible. Thank you. And I'm also so glad, being so closely involved in the walk myself, it's so lovely to hear firsthand that impact and that support that an event is able to provide to our community. So thank you for sharing. But in your involvement in the walk, you've been quite creative, and you've had quite a few creative pursuits to raise funds for Ovarian Cancer Canada. Can you share a little bit about some of those things that you've done, and how does it make you feel to give back in this way?
I, of course, can share. I love being creative. The first year after my mom passed away, I set the goal to $5,000 to raise, and we exceeded that to $6,000. So the next year I was like, let's shoot higher. So I set it at $10,000, and we raised over $11,000. And so now this year I'm like, we got to shoot higher. So our team goal is $15,000. I haven't told my team that yet, but we're aiming for $15,000. And I just love being creative. So I've done spring rolls. I've learned that people like to receive something. So if they can buy something, it's easier to give. So I have a lot of Filipinos in my life. So I said, hey, we're making spring rolls. We sold 80 dozen spring rolls. So if you do the math, that's over 1,000 spring rolls. I've done cheesecakes. I'm currently doing that. I've sold 50 packs of 4 little mini cheesecakes. Raffles with local businesses supporting. People want to help, so reaching out, allowing people to help. So ask your friends, ask your family, local businesses. I also am a spin instructor, so I've done with spin, we did Put for a Cause, we call it. So then all the funds are donated to ovarian cancer when I do that. And then recently in 2020, I started a business in memory of my mom called Little Miss Shaunshine, making greeting cards. So throughout the year, that's my main focus. But the closer it gets to the walk, then I start pulling in more creative things. So just got to be creative and allow people to help and reach out to people with their other creative aspects. I didn't know how to roll a spring roll, but now I do.
You could do it in your sleep with those numbers. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You certainly have, you even with, everything happening last year and pivoting to virtual, it really didn't slow you down, and you reached higher. And again, this year going higher. I love that you haven't shared it with your team yet, but that's what a good team captain does, just sets those targets high. So thank you so much for everything you've done and for joining us here as well, Stephanie. So Jennifer, I'm going to come to you now. And I just wondered, you've touched a little bit on the history of the Beau's 5K, but I wondered if you could tell us a little bit more about what it is now and what it means to the community, that I think what is quite a tight-knit community around you, and how that's expanded.
Yeah, like I said, Vanklekill, where we live, it's a little town of about 1,800 people. So a single diagnosis like we went through with Ashley can touch a lot of lives. Ashley had inspired our event. She was a school teacher herself, so she had her students, her teacher friends. But even within our community, her mom is a nurse, and I knew her dad is one of the volunteer firefighters. Also, I knew him from hanging around the brewery. But when something like ovarian cancer happens in a small town to such people that are such an integral part, such good giving part of the community, you really see everybody wanting to rally and support. And I kind of echo what Stephanie said, that when you give people kind of an out of the box solution to support you, people just, they come out in droves. It's like they've been wanting to do that, and you gave them something concrete to do. So we find, the local newspapers get involved. I end up, I open my door and there's prizes on my doorstep. I don't know where they came from. And, it gives people something meaningful and achievable to do when they want to help. And the other thing I saw in the course of our race was the impact on Ashley. She was going through a second round of chemo in 2017. And I know seeing all her friends and family come out and support meant a lot to her, and kind of, helped her with her mental health and, getting through that part of her journey. So, and I know part of her motivation was also educating other women about ovarian cancer. Like you said, silent killer, when we wanted to make sure that going forward that the event continues that on. So every year I do a little spiel where I talk to everybody, or we have someone out from ovarian cancer to do the same thing. So maybe it's not the thing people want to hear just before they start a 5K race, but darn it, it's part of our event. So it was good for the community as well, especially during COVID, because so many events had been canceled. And we just finished announcing we were canceling our Oktoberfest, which have never been to Beau's Oktoberfest. Picture 20,000 people standing around in a field with little green hats. It's a really nice time. And we had to cancel it for the first time in a decade. And it really bummed people out, especially when so many other things were being canceled. And so when I told people I was still running the 5K for ovarian cancer, people were just so happy, even if I said it was going to be virtual. And they were like, well, how are you going to do a virtual race? And I said, well, I didn't know. So I said I'd figure it out.
Yeah, and we saw similar experiences with the walk, and people responded so positively to know that it was going ahead, and there was a way to get involved, but it was the how, which raised some questions. But we all got there. We certainly all got there. And so on that same note, you did have to change quite dramatically. So I guess what motivated you, other than the response from the community, and what kind of pushed that perseverance as you found those new ways to adapt as the event got closer and then took place?
Yeah, I think one thing that helped was we were in 2020, and we usually start planning the race in March. So we were already in adapt mode. Like, everything was so surreal. As a company, we would put making beer on the back burner. We were making hand sanitizer. And it was such a crazy time that actually the benefit was that it still felt like anything was possible. So when we suggested, doing a virtual run, it was kind of like, that's just crazy enough to work. And that was back in March 2020. There weren't really any other examples of virtual events at that time that we could look to as models. I was worried, I'll be honest. I thought people would be so preoccupied with COVID and relief fundraising that we wouldn't hit our goal. But then I just kind of let myself say that, hey, like, even if we don't hit our $40,000 or $70,000 or whatever, that's okay, because the dollars still add up. And once I was able to kind of let that go, then put in the call to Ovarian Cancer Canada, and kind of like, hey guys, are we still cool to do this year? And I got a big heck yeah. So that was feeling like we were working with Ovarian Cancer Canada as a team on this. their creative problem solving. Like, how do you do a 5K if you don't have the distance marked out? And we came up with the idea where all the participants got a little pedometer. And with a little step counter, so people knew when you hit 5K, even if you were just walking around your own neighborhood. And it's a huge relief to have a partner that's handling the signups and the online payments and stuff like that, because I think without having that component, doing an event of the size and caliber that we do would be super overwhelming. And then I would say that the last thing that continued to motivate me too was I was still hearing about women diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I was like, this awful disease is not going to sit around and wait for us to sort this pandemic out. It's not going anywhere, and we need to, it almost made it seem more critical that year than any other year.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. So I think that we've covered so much in such a short time, and thank you all so much. What you've all contributed and been a part of is really incredible and in very different ways. And it's so interesting to see how how widespread the impact of this community is, and how widespread the impact of Ovarian Cancer Canada is as well, is quite powerful, I think. But I wanted to put one more question forward, and again, I'm going to open the floor to everyone. And I just wanted to say, as we wrap up, are there any final thoughts that you would have, or anything you'd like to say to those who are watching today, who are interested in getting more involved in different ways, or want to do something but aren't quite sure how or what they can do? Erin, I'll start with you.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. If you want to get involved, get involved. You have nothing to lose. All you have to gain are connections with wonderful women like you've met today, with inspiring, exciting people. The team at Ovarian Cancer Canada could not be more amazing. They're ready to help you and support you in whatever you want. And even just making a donation, a straight donation of however much you can afford, be it a monthly donation, a one-off, or putting Ovarian Cancer Canada into your will, it just feels good to know you're supporting this cause that's working so hard. And I take great pride in knowing that I'm supporting such a well-run, passionate organization. So if you're on the fence about getting involved, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I highly recommend it.
Thanks, Erin. Jen, over to you if you have any last few words.
Yeah, sure. I would just say, if there's anybody thinking about starting a community fundraiser like a 5K, it's a great turnkey model to do. You can do it in your own community and reach out to Ovarian Cancer Canada. They've obviously been the backbone of our event, so they can do it for you too. Otherwise, if you our event is coming up July 3rd this year. You can participate anywhere in Canada. With the only caveat being that I can't mail you a free beer unless you're in Ontario. But you can do the fundraising just the same. If you do live in Ontario, our event is impactful, it's fun, and it has free beer. Registration's open now. We open registration every year on May 8th. And in particular, if you have a group of family and friends who want to show their support for someone with ovarian cancer, and we all know there's only so many freezer meals you can eat or give, sign up a team with our event. You pay $40. It goes 100% to Ovarian Cancer Canada. There's no overhead. Did I say free beer? Free beer. And, it's last year we raised $42,000, but $13,000 of that came from one team. So imagine the difference you can make by signing up for our event. So do it or start your own.
Thanks, Jen. And last but certainly not least, Stephanie.
Yes, like these ladies have said, you literally have nothing to lose by getting involved. Shoot for the stars, be creative, and just have fun. People want to support, and I think my main thing is know your reason for wanting to be involved. People love passion, people love heart, and with those two things, you'll reach those stars. So
Certainly. Thank you. And I can't say it enough. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. And I'm sure I can speak on behalf of everyone watching. Thank you for sharing, being so open and honest with us, and telling us your stories and why you get involved and how you get involved. It's definitely been powerful, and it's been incredible chatting with you. So thank you so much. We hope everyone who has been watching has enjoyed this panel discussion, as well as this morning's Powered by Impact session. We do have a full afternoon, I suppose, of activity and sessions ahead. Next up, we have a presentation on Ovarian Cancer Canada's OVCAN initiative. It will be starting in just a few minutes' time. So you make sure you have to click into the session on the left-hand side of your screen. Before you do that, we are going to pass it over to some words from some of our incredible Teal sisters in the community. Thank you all again so much for joining, and we hope you've taken something from this.
Hi, I am Bridget and I am from Regina, Saskatchewan, and I am an ovarian cancer survivor. And I am truly grateful and thankful for the opportunity to gather and share with other women who have been affected by ovarian cancer. We are more powerful and stronger together.
Hello, bonjour. My name is Jessica, and I'm coming to you live today from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I am so pleased to be given the opportunity to just take a moment to say thank you to Ovarian Cancer Canada. Back in 2018, when I turned 40, I didn't expect to be diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and it was a scary journey that started then. And when I became in contact with Ovarian Cancer Canada and received that beautiful little Teal book that let me know you were by my side, little did I know 3 years later, here you would be by my side. And from the National Symposium to providing support groups to really connecting me with a whole community of Teal sisters. And I'm so grateful. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Colleen and I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for all the support that I've been given during my journey with ovarian cancer. Thank you for the support from my friends, my family, my loved ones, the online support people, as well as those that are local that have been supporting me, and most of all, the support I've been given by my love and partner, Brian. Without all of you, I don't think I'd be able to make it through this journey. So thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you.
OCC, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm Erin from Thomasburg, and I loved the By Your Side resource. I used it through my whole treatment, my diagnosis. Thank you so much for everything that you do for women with ovarian cancer every day.
Thank you, Ovarian Cancer Canada, for advocating for research investment.